Hi, I just got back from vacation, kind of. It was a business retreat. And one of the first things I like to do is stock my kitchen with the foods that I'm going to want to get back into my routine. I always have yogurt in my refrigerator. So today I want to make my favorite yogurt, which is cashew, walnut, and hemp seed. And so what I've done is I have some walnuts and cashews here that have been soaking for about 4 hours. And so you can see it's pretty messy. I'm gonna go and strain and rinse these cashews and walnuts, and I'll be right back. Okay, so you don't have to be exact. This is a heaping cup of cashews and a heaping cup of walnuts. And so it really doesn't, you could do a half a cup of each, it really doesn't matter. And so I'm thinking I probably have 2.5 cups total here, but it really doesn't matter. And so I'm going to combine that with hemp seeds. And so you can see here, I have my hemp seeds. And I just buy these in bulk. And so here are my hemp seeds here. And so I'm gonna be putting them into my mixer, my blender. I always put them in first. So here's a cup. I didn't do a heaping cup, just a regular cup. A cup of hemp seeds. I'm using those because they're very, very high in protein and very high in omega-3 fatty acids, very anti-inflammatory. And then I'm gonna be adding my cashews and my walnuts. And so I have at least 3 cups of nuts and seeds here. And so usually you want about a 1-to-1 relationship. So if this is 3 cups, I want 3 cups of water. And so for now, so this is a little over 3 cups of water, I'm going to pour the water in, but not all of it. And so I don't know how well you can see, I just covered everything in there. So I'm gonna turn it on to blend it up and get it nice and smooth. Forgot the lid. Okay, so I'm blending until it's nice and smooth. Okay, so I blended this for about a minute. I want you to see. Let me see if I can grab a spoon. It's still a little chunky. You can actually see on my, whatever this is called, damper, that is still kind of chunky. And so I'm gonna add some more water to get it smoother. Now this is really thick. I don't know how well you can see. Really thick. And it's not gonna get that much thicker. Being a plant-based yogurt, it's not gonna get that much thicker as it ferments. And so we want it to be about the texture you want when you eat it. And so I'm going to just turn it back on and add about a half more of the water. And I'm gonna save some water because I'm going to add my probiotics and my starter to my water. So I'm gonna turn it back on and slowly add about half of this. Okay, you can use any nuts or seeds. I picked these because cashews are so nice and creamy. The walnuts are high in omega-3s, and the hemp seeds are high in protein and omega-3s as well. Now, hemp seeds do have a little bit of a bitterness, and walnuts have a lot of anthocyanins, which are wonderful for the brain and the body, but it also adds a little bit of color. So when we make this yogurt, it will be kind of purple. It'll have a purpley gray color. So you can see it's not real white. Hemp and cashews make it really, really white, but the walnuts add a little bit color. But you can see how thick that is. It's definitely coating the spoon. It's pretty thick, but I like a thick yogurt, you know, more of a Greek style yogurt. If you want it thinner, then just add a little bit more water. I'm gonna keep it like this because I'm still gonna be adding more water with the probiotics. So I'm gonna stick it back on, and then I'm going to add a starter. So this one is GI Pro Start from GI Pro Health. I do not work for them. I do not sell for them. I'm just letting you know what I like. I really trust this product. And it tells you on here to add 1/8 of a teaspoon per quart. And so I'm gonna have about a quart. And so I'm gonna put about 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm going to add that to my water. You can add it directly to it. I just prefer to add it to the water. And then I like to add a probiotic that suits me. So whatever probiotic that you're using at home will be fine. You could use a little more of the starter. You could leave probiotic out and just use the starter. but I'm going to be adding 1 capsule. Now, with yogurt, if you want to use a starter or use yogurt from another batch to help it grow so that it can produce more ferments. Now, cashews have some sugar in them, and so it's going to feed the bacteria and help it grow. If we didn't have the cashews, then I may want to add a little bit of something with a sugar in it to feed the bacteria. I prefer just to add some cashews so I don't have to add any sugar. So I'm going to stir that. And then I'm going to add it. So the reason I didn't add it before is this blender gets hot and we don't want to heat the bacteria too hot because then it could kill it. And so I'm going to just add it to here and then slowly pour it in, and then we'll be ready for the next step. I'm going to pour it in so you can see it's much thinner now. Move my spoon out of the way. Filling up my bowl. Here. Scrape it all out because those nuts and seeds are expensive, aren't they? Scrape it all out. It's going to be delicious though. And so I don't typically eat a breakfast of just yogurt. I like to add it to, a chia pudding or on top of a smoothie bowl or something like that. Those of you who have been following me for a while know that I prefer to eat a smoothie, not drink it through a straw, just so that I activate all the different enzymes in my mouth. We have enzymes that break down carbohydrates in our mouth, and sometimes when we use a straw, we just skip those, and so we want to break down those carbohydrates as much as possible. So here is our yogurt. Now this type of bacteria does not need oxygen, so I'm covering it, and I can put this in my dehydrator at 110 degrees for 12 to 24 hours, or I can use a yogurt maker. Use that if you have one, or I can even just use my oven. So if you can tell from there, I have the light on in my oven. That warms it up. I'm gonna stick my yogurt in here. The oven is off. The oven's off, just the light is on, and that's gonna keep it the right temperature. Now I do have a thermometer that I have put in there to make sure it doesn't get too hot. If you have a different kind of bulb, or if you have 2 bulbs, it may get too hot for that. But you want it to be around 100 to 110 degrees. If it gets too much higher, it's gonna kill the bacteria. If it's cooler, then it's gonna take a lot longer to ferment. So I like to taste mine at 12 hours and see if it's the sourness that I want. And sometimes I'll go to 24 hours. Some people even go up to 36 hours, but you don't wanna go too long because then you can start growing yeast. So I like to stick to 12 to 24 hours. So I will show you and let you know how long it takes in the next, in a few minutes. Okay, it's time to check our yogurt. I took it out of the oven and turned the light off, and let's see what it looks like. Here we go. So I kind of tilted it, I guess, opening it. You can see it kind of has a purplish color on top. That's from the walnuts. Sometimes there'll be some separation. It'll look kind of watery on the bottom. That's fine. You can just stir it in. So I just have my spoon. I'm just going to stir it so you can see the color difference there. See the white versus the purple. So that walnut, the anthocyanins from the walnuts comes to the top, and that's just wonderful for our brain. It smells really nice and sour. I can stir the purple in, or I can just leave it, and you can see some of the liquid from the inside coming up, which is fine too. But I wanted you to see how nice and thick that is. So it's really nice and thick, nice and creamy. And so I really do like the 1-to-1 ratio of nuts and seeds. If you want it even thicker, you can use a little less water, but this is gonna be perfect. So let me give it a little taste. It's a little warm because it's been in there. But the flavor is really good. It's nice and sour. And this one was in about 18 hours, not a full 24 hours. I usually find 12 hours is gonna be sour enough. but 24 is really good as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. Let me know if you make your own dairy-free yogurt and any tips and tricks that you have. I love to hear from you. Subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and I teach things like this in the Zen Zest Zone. This month it's only $19.65 a month. I teach with my Gen twin. One week out of the month, one day out of the month, we teach a cooking class. One day is herbal remedies and hands-on things you can do with herbs. We do meditations and things for the vagus nerve and functional fitness. I hope you'll join us. There's a link in my bio.